Oh, hello everyone. Um, hey, been a while. Might as well have been. I brought my DS here for no reason. But in any case, hey, Mega Man. You know that series? The series was mostly dead for a while until like the 11th game came out a while back. I wonder. Let's go back to a simpler time when Mega Man was still on the top and he was in the public's mind still. With a series that some people know as the Network series, which is a series I was trying out some RPG stuff. Well, it did it very well. I know that seemed a little early, but that's consensus, and I don't disagree with it. I mean, I do think it's flawed, but agree that it's too neat. You know what I mean? It's neat for what it's doing, and it still does it well enough. Though it's hard enough to find a review for it on the modern era, which there were a lot of flaws. But, hey. In any case, let's review Battle Networks or the GBA. Though, mind you, I don't actually have it on this.
So, let's talk about how this game series is different from the original series for a moment. The original series did not happen at all, and it's more like a sub route of continuity. I know this sounds odd, but the series happens where Dr. Light didn't make robots, he made a system called the Network Society. And, good lord, it is dumb. It is dumb as sin. Like, holy crap, how did anyone ever agree to this? And when I say that, I mean that with the sincerity of, none of this works, and I'll get into that later, but seriously, it never works. So how does this world work? Well, you see, everything's on the internet now, and everything's connected to the internet. Even this little fucking box here. I don't know why it's connected to the internet, it just is. Just don't worry about that. And basically, this is my big problem with the game series. I should just basically make it plain out. This series has the problem of small questions leading up to a big question, causing a lot of continuity issues, and not only that, problems with the world design, which basically means me say like I'm basically out. But I should also make a mention of how I can overlook this when I get to it, when I talk about it too, because it's only on mode. So, what's this game about? Well, you play as a kid named Lon, who has a Navi. Well, a Navi is basically someone's helper and assistant, who basically is named Megaman. I know, shocker. You can't ever call him anything else. Who is just, and they just do shit. That's the best way I can describe this game. They just do shit. More shit than most people will ever do, because they're either apathetic or something. And I know that sounds odd, but that's how it generally is. And I generally wonder, what is with these people? They literally see cars get destroyed, like, BAM! And they don't give a fuck. They don't even turn on the system, they just said, fuck it. So yeah. He's just your generic character. I know that sounds odd, but that's the best way I could describe him. He's not that very interesting. I mean, he has some qualities that can make him interesting, but more times than not, I just don't care enough about him. And I will at least say that the story is interesting enough, where you basically... Well, again, remember when I said about shit just happens to you? Well, that's kind of just it. For example, oven on fire, it just happens to you, and you just stop it. School gets taken over, you're just there to stop it. Though, which is odd, because I don't care enough. Waterworks get taken over, you handle it for some reason. Again, that might sound like an issue, but I don't mind it if they're tied together, which they are done poorly. Every event feels like they're trying to tie itself to each other, but none of them really do. Remember that waterworks and then school hijacking? Well, fun fact, that happens a month apart from each other, so yeah, I hope you like that, where it feels disjointed, where it's actually supposed to be over a long period of time, which is so bizarre. And you wonder, why is everyone apathetic when it's so simple? Which maybe that could explain why everyone is, and which will lead me into the gameplay. Gameplay happens like this. You're on a 3x6 square battlefield, where you share half of it with yourself and your opponent. Mega Man can use his Mega Buster to deal damage to the opponent, but that won't be enough to destroy the enemies for now. So how do you deal damage? Well, you gotta use chips. Chips are the way you can deal damage effectively. That's allowing you to do a lot of things like sling your sword, have an attack, bombs, whatever, depending on the type of chip. There's also a letter system and a type of chip. So basically, let's just say you have 2 cannon chips. Use those, and you could just BAM! Use them together to use 2 of them, thus allowing you to get battle quickly. Or the same letter, because if a chip has the same letter, you can use the same of them too. However, this causes more problems when I get down to it. But it's a simple combat system which shouldn't take long, and most battles don't last longer than a minute. If they do last longer than a minute, there must be something wrong with you, and the beginning of the game is horrible for this because your beginning set of folder of chip is really terrible. Terrible. And I mean that to just say that because that's what generally is. Most people agree that the game beginning is a slog because of what you're dealing with. And more or less, you're just like, why? So how do you get better chip? Well, through that same exact system. I know that sounds odd, but because it only doesn't make sense when you start thinking about it. Like, who's giving you these chips and who's giving you this money? Is it the internet and is giving you all this stuff because you're doing a service? Which just kind of makes me wonder, how the heck does this world function when money can be gained through the internet through fighting viruses when there are so many of them? Which is so baffling. What's worse is that you don't know how the chips are. In the anime, they made a point about showing about how chips can be made or shown, or actually, the anime makes it even more complicated, but my point still stands. It's never explained. And yes, you can argue this is just a way for gameplay to happen, which that's fine, but that's like saying, I don't know, the sphere system in Final Fantasy X. They explain it's a real thing, and they explain how it works. So it just makes me wonder, why don't they bother to explain it, or at least show that, oh, it's how this thing works in the real world, and we just use theoretical levels and stuff. You know what I mean? And I know that's an odd comparison, but that is the best way I can describe it to someone. And I know that sounds a little nitpicky, but that's just kind of how my problems are. They're mostly nitpicky at times, but some of them are just serious problems. Like, for example, you can break this game. Like, no, you can break it. Like, that. There are, like, many videos online about how you can break the system like that. Because that's how breakable the game is, and the series in general, but I've heard it's more balanced in the sequel. But my point being is, that's just how the game is, and that's not a bad thing. I'm just saying it's just how I think. I just say that if a game's breakable, I don't know, I just have this weird thought on it. But point being, the combat's up. But what's kind of thing is, the dungeons kind of help this, but it's sort of alright. But I also want to talk about something too, the main place where you'll actually spend a lot more time. The internet. Wait a moment, how the heck do you get to the internet, or get into the network through other things? Well, you jack it in. You jack it in there, and even in a car. You could jack it in class, and all those other fun places. And yes, I am proud of that joke. And I actually wrote a script about this, and it was a really long one. I just canceled it immediately. In which then, I just said, yeah. Point being, this is why you don't script write too ahead. So yeah, the internet's boring as sin, but mostly all the layouts of, or the background of every network place is terrible looking. But you'll spend most of your time here on the internet, and so what do you do here? Well, you just go explore and find stuff like money, chips, I don't know, and upgrades. Oh yeah, upgrade. Yeah, Mega Man doesn't level up like a normal RPG. You need to upgrade him with HP memories, which can upgrade his HP 20 for each one, or a power-up, which levels him up 3 times. Gives him 3 levels for every one you find. And wait a moment, there's levels in this game? I know that sounds odd, but I'll come back to it when I need to talk about it, and each HP gives you 1. So, let's go back. So yeah, wait, what do you upgrade when you use your power-up? Well, you can upgrade 3 parts. Your power, speed, and your charger. Or basically, you can charge your Mega Buster when you upgrade it. So, yeah, I actually recommend you only upgrade your power and shot speed. Because why? Those are more powerful and more useful. I've actually defeated more bosses using just an upgraded Mega Buster just to deal a lot more damage. Since most of the bosses aren't that really hard, it's only about the later half of the game where it actually starts to become a challenge. But wait, where do you find these? Well, you can find them out in the world, or anywhere actually. Sometimes in the physical world, in places where you wouldn't look, which is annoying as a game mechanic, making me wonder why did they bother with that? But the most places where you can find these are shops. And I generally only recommend you buy those, because certain chips are just worthless. Okay, I might just actually go into the chip system for a moment. Remember when I said you wanted, there's a letter and type chip? Well, you only want to focus on the letter of the chip rather than the type of chip. Because if you focus on the letter of a chip, that means if all your chips are the same, you could just spam them all and just use them all together, rather than just using the same type of chip. So again, that's a weird bounce issue, which I'm just baffled by that the designers never thought of this. Plus also, in the sequel game, the letter system becomes even more broken if anything, which is just more baffling to me, but I just wondered why? Why? Actually, since we are talking about ships and battle and combat, I might as well go over the dungeons. Most of the dungeons are fine, I mean the first few. Fireman, Iceman, and Numbers Man stages were fine. They're fine beginning stages, and I usually said Iceman stage was the better one, only due to because mostly about how Iceman works and how the stage is fitting on that stage, while Fireman stage is alright. I wish it was more subsistential or had something more to it. And the Number Man stages was so easy, I basically told people that I had to look up my footage just to remember how easy it was. Because I only ever used my Buster on him, and when I didn't, it was just mostly just one chip, and it was just dealing a lot amount of damage. Mind you, there are other bosses other than just what I stated, but this is actually something odd. The game wants you to go out of your way to do something rather than just do the thing. Okay, for example. Okay, the train line is down for whatever reason. I'm generally trying to keep understanding this. They say there's a landslide on the network, which is so odd. But whatever. So, you decide, so how do you find out, or how do you help out? Well, you don't jack in the train line. So where do you go? Well, you gotta go to your friend Dex's computer, get on his, hack on it, jack it in, so, you know, in front of him, and just go onto his PC, steal some info from him, so you can access another part of the internet, which is so baffling, which is what makes me wonder, wait, why don't I have access to the full internet, which is, again, a baffling thing. Because you need to do this. Also, you do need to beat him in a fight, which I recommend you do, because his ship of Gutsman is very powerful, because you can destroy your opponent's field, making them trap on certain types of fields, and be just like bam, 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 destroying enemies like that, which is always fun. But also, what the problem is, you have to go back on the internet, which you have to deal with a lot of random fights, and it's annoying, and it will get on your nerves really quickly, and then go on to the second part, where you need to find Stone Man. And again, he's an easy find. Which, oh god, And I might as well talk about the other stages, too. So yeah, one of the most annoying stages to me was the Elect Man stage. Which, okay, I wanted to actually put this into a situation because this was the weakest part of the game. You see, okay, you're at your father's job place, or where a restaurant underground near Silence, okay? That's neat and all. So, what's happening? Well, Count Zap just comes in, says, I'm gonna kill you all, unless you do whatever I want. It just causes that, turns off the power, and since the area is airtight, even though this is not a chemical lab, but more of a science lab, which you're wondering, wait, wouldn't it already be like that? No! No, only the parts that are chemically based. Like, you don't why? What's worse is that you gotta go too and try to help out in the situation, but the game tells you that, yeah, if you jack it in the power plant, your battery is going to be drained like that, which that's never been a problem before. Until now, and tells you if your battery runs out, megaman could be destroyed or something. No, he won't. Because the game doesn't let you feel like that. There is no tension here. There is literally negative tension. Why? You see, the game... I remember watching a review of someone else, Shinto Reviews, which I recommend you watch, because it was a good review still regardless. But he told us that in this dungeon, you don't recover HP, which, no, you do. I know for a fact, I have seen multiple times where I had full HP when I was damaged before. And what's worse is that even if your battery runs out, it's not a real end of the world because you can just recharge it, which is just baffling to me why they made it just a risk, or make it sound like a risk. But that's not the more annoying part, because you see, the dungeon is overly long. When I say overly long, that's not even a joke. I actually was irritated by this. And I basically had a bunch of skate shits by this point, and I just had them on me just so I can just lay fight, because that's how annoying these sites got. And the puzzle in it isn't just, like, it could have actually tied into itself, and there are ways to fix it. Actually make the battery time an actual problem. Where, yes, you can recharge at the last moment just to be like, jack out, but you have to restart the whole dungeon, which is fine on some level, trying to make it actually feel like some desperate measure, or have a time limit, and, I don't know, have the puzzle actually takes... But make the puzzle short, because here's the thing, the puzzle doesn't take that long to do, it's just a matter of time of you figuring out what to do. That's not the problem, and that's the problem. The dungeons are so short, but they are long by the things you need to do. And, my god, it was the most annoying dungeon I have ever played through. It is one of the reasons why I'll never play this game again. And that's a fact. And oh god, near the end. Okay, remember when I talked about those... Dr. Wily's got all the things he needs to do a world life virus. Where basically it will destroy the network society, which will cause anarchy and rule the world, something like that. Yada yada yada. So, you want to figure out a way to get to Dr. Wily. But, nobody knows how, because they don't have the pin for the world www.worldfree.com. Yes, seriously, that's a joke I'm gonna keep on making, because that is way more funny. But my point being is, they don't know how to. It's the internet. Didn't you create it, or where's the main function? You can't like tell me you created something, but to figure out no way of destroying it or stopping something. It's just so baffling. But what's worse is that the amount of stuff you need to do to get through it. Well, okay, so you need the pin so that you can access a place. What is this place? Well, how do you get there? Well, remember some of those guys like Hitsby? Well, you need to talk to him to give you www.willfree.com pin, which when you get there, you figure out, he tells you at that moment, you need to find other people who have it. Which is, makes me wonder, why didn't you tell me this, or why did you waste my time? So you leave, and where do you find these people? Well, the game never tells you. Well, and the game kind of sort of lies to you, too. Because you see, the game tells you they're in Dentown. Where, no, one of them's actually in your hometown, and the other one is in Dentown. So, yeah. So, where do you go? Well, you need to go to the summer school. Where's that in Dentown? It's in Area 4. Where's that? That's actually down where the center is. But the game never tells you that because you never need to go there for a plot reason. Which is so baffling to me, as it made me wonder why. And it's actually just Miss Yuri's sister, which I laughed my ass off because in the show, again, I'm referencing the show, she's actually the adopted daughter of Dr. Wily. Which is, wow, that's an interesting character dynamic. Never happened. I know, shock. But here's the thing. Remember all that level requirement? Well, there's also a chip required. There's a chip required. You need to have a certain amount of chips before she'll give you the pin. And what is that? I think it was around 60 or 70. I can't really particularly remembering. But she asks you with her number, and if you don't have it, you're not allowed to progress. What's worse is if you cheated to get all the chips, which I don't give a fuck if you do. The game will lock it out of you and say, fuck you, you cheated. Which, I always found that to be annoying, like, oh, come the fuck on. You can't really care that much about it. But it's the next one that annoys me the most. Because you see, here's the thing. In some versions of the original port, there's an old man in your old town. You need to talk to him because he has the pin too. What's worse, he asks you for a level requirement, which is around level 50 to 70 for some, I'm not particularly sure. But in some version, he will lock you out, regardless of what your level is. How the fuck did that happen? How the fuck did that happen? I mean, like, I was lucky that my version didn't have this bug, but still, that's amazing to me. That is a well-known thing, and yet none of that. Why? And why does it ask you for a level requirement? Because exploring the game is really a tedious task at this point. Thus meaning, you doing that is kind of a waste of your own damn time. So, yeah. That's very annoying. So, wait, where was WorldFree.com's location? Well, they were right near your school all along. Why? I don't know. That's a good question. That would explain why they were trying to kidnap your school and all. But, yeah. Oh, yeah, right. I should actually mention something, too, because this actually kind of escapes my mind every so often. You see, during the middle of that whole, what was it, the waterworks and the electric factory being turned off, there was a little thing. Remember when I said people getting apathy? Yeah. That wasn't a joke. That actually happened in the game where basically this person, I keep forgetting her name, turns out all the lights and makes so that everyone just crashes into each other. Like, BAM! But why are they doing that? No, they're not doing it for anarchy's sake. They're doing it because of money. Basically telling them, pay us to fix this shit. Which baffles me because why wouldn't the police or anyone just email us to not do that? Or just stop driving for a while or turn these off? I don't know. I just don't know. Because remember what I said about Dr. Wily here? Well, Dr. Wily still made robots. It's just that it's not as important either. They still happen and they're important, which kind of creates this big question of, wait, you made all this shit and you're in need of money. Really? Really? swear on my life. So, whatever. You get to Wily's stage, and it's just annoying. You just need to get through a bunch of refused dungeons. They're not that hard, honestly, and yay, all your friends come to help you and all. Yay. That's all dandy and all. Like, really helpful. Okay. The last dungeon, second to last one, actually, is the most annoying one, because I have to talk about the last boss, or the second to last boss, or I say the true boss because he's a fucking asshole. That's against Magic Man. Magic Man. Not this Magic Man. But what's talking about Adventure Time? I would be having fun. So yeah, you go in and you need to fight Magic Man. But I call him the most annoying boss fight, mostly only because he can call for more units in the fight in and of itself, which is annoying. And I fucking hate this one particular enemy. This enemy that basically shoots at a lane. A column. Well, technically it's a lane. Wait. A column is sideways. Lane is. God dang it. My math is off the ass. In a certain lane, and if you're on it, it will attack that certain lane and always be on that lane until it's done. And that enemy keeps going up in the air, and it keeps getting annoying because it will not die because it has way too much health for some chips. But what's worse, it's that you can't stop this. And what's worse, Magic Man is a simple boss because he doesn't do anything else other than one simple attack that he just attacks the middle row. That's it. He's not doing anything interesting because that's not the thing. The boss is only interesting because he calls on others to do his job. Not him doing his own job. Jesus fucking Christ. And I died to this boss multiple times. But that's actually not the worst thing about this, actually. No. You see, after you beat him, you can't save. Yeah, because a plot crucial things happen. And I'm just like, really? Really? So wait, what is this plot crucial thing? Well, you find out that Megaman is your brother. Wait, what? Yeah, that just comes out of nowhere. And he tells you his name is Hub. Lawn Hub. Funny. But it is so stupid. As he makes you wonder why. Because actually, this never plays a part in the story ever again. Ever again. Isn't that annoying? Where the game just introduces this thing that you should know, but tells you it doesn't really matter? How fucking annoying is that? I mean, for fuck's sake. That's like introducing... I don't know. Oh, Nero's mother was, I don't know, Kyrie's mother? No, that would be an interesting plot twist. Point being, it's not interesting and it never plays a part. And you go to Dr. Wily and... Wait, what? There's another bug? Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, and this one's actually pretty funny. You see, in the final dungeon, in the final boss, in some versions again, I repeat, in some, they can entirely skip over the boss fight. I am not even joking. How does that happen? Why does that happen? You would think that this is the final boss. You need to fight him. So, yeah, what about the boss? Well, the final boss is just alright. I mean, the boss has nothing really that, what I would like to call glamorous about it. The boss fight scene right here is all it is. You just need a shit that deals over 100 damage before you can actually deal damage. Or when it starts to attack you. when it starts to attack you, yeah, that's your chance to do something. And that's pretty much it for the boss. After that, you just win. That's just it. Credits. You know, thinking on the boss, I forgot to ever talk about the graphics, which are important to talk about. No, other than how the internet looks, it's actually, the game looks very good. Yeah, no. The game looks great for a GBA game, and it doesn't feel limited by it, but actually helped by it, if anything. Generally, yeah. Graphics look good, everything looks fine and great. I wish some of there were more individual character models, but whatever, that's just a me thing. Actually, I should talk about the music. The music's actually pretty damn good. All of them are pretty damn catchy. I mean, sure, I'll get annoyed by some because they were overly long because of the dungeon design, but other than that, yeah. All of them very good and well designed. I mean, like, I do think some of them could have been better, but that's just me.
So that was Mega Man Battle Network. What did I think about it? It was alright. I won't play it ever again. The gameplay is fine, it's steady, and the sequels do improve upon the series. It's just that this game, I know it's actively trying to waste my time. It feels like everything is trying to become connected, but really isn't. Really isn't. So, yeah. Next time, we got a little special treat on my hands. We're gonna talk about Duel Masters. A series that... Holy shit, what happened to it? Well, I mean, it's in the West. This thing's still going. Till next time.